Hi everybody, April Jones here. I have been an attorney now over 33 years, and Jones Law Firm has been serving clients in Colorado, and we are in our 24th year. This webinar series, I'm so excited to bring it to you. It's helping us with our mission of education, enlightening our clients, and really helping you try to get to the next best place in your life. So we've got a lot of good information for you. We've got experts, we've got our team, we've got panel discussions, and so much more. So let's go see what this webinar is about, and I will see you on the other side.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much to the people who are joining us right now. We really appreciate you for joining us for this webinar today. First of all, happy Valentine's Day to everyone out there. If you are divorcing or if you're contemplating divorce, this Valentine's Day might feel a little bit differently for you. And we just want to let you know that here at April Jones Law, our motto is that we take sides, yours. And so we want to let you know that however this Valentine's Day looks for you, we are here for our clients every step of the way. One of the reasons why we love our jobs here at April Jones is because we see the full amount of the divorce process. So that it's not just a negative process. A lot of people feel like it can be that way as you're starting out. It can actually be a transformative process. There are a lot of positive parts to this, and we've seen some of our clients make the biggest changes in their lives for the better as they have gotten through this process. So I want to go ahead and start by introducing everyone who is on our panel today. So we have Sue Horwitz, and Sue is a divorce coach, and Sue has a lot of experience. She's a veteran solo entrepreneur, and she has worked in tech product launches, business publications, and with Fortune 500 companies as well. And she has sought coaching to navigate this transition whenever she decided to do a career change. And so now she wants to help coach other people. She is a certified divorce coach. She's also a certified mediator as well. But one of the things that's really interesting about Sue is that she also has her own background and her own experience with divorce as well. And so we're going to touch on that very shortly. I also wanted to introduce you to David Collins. He is a senior attorney at our firm, and he has worked with so many clients throughout the years and really helping them transform throughout their time, starting the divorce process all the way to the end of it. We also have Haley Hollins with us as well, and she is a wonderful, compassionate attorney that also really helps people and supports them even emotionally as they're going through these processes. And my name is Jessica Crawford. I'm an associate attorney as well at the law firm. So, Sue, I just wanted to start out with, I kind of mentioned it, but can you talk about how you first got into divorce coaching?
Sure. So I was looking to have a career change. I had been running a publishing firm for about 16, 17 years, and I sought coaching out to help me make that transition and decided coaching is for me. It's a great profession. I like working with people. I'd been in a leadership capacity previously, and my goal was to transform my then publishing business into a coaching practice. And as I was getting ready to shutter the publishing business, my husband decided that he was going to leave the marriage. And I it came as a complete shock. I think we're talking earlier about being a gray-haired divorcee. Um, so I really thought my life was going to be over. And fortunately, I was a coach and surrounded by other coaches who really helped me and support me through the process. And I happened to be speaking several years later at a coaching event, and I met a divorce coach and I was like, well, wait, coaching is coaching is coaching. And she's like, no, it's very specialized when it's about divorce. And that's when I realized there were probably things I could have done better. There were mistakes I could have avoided that cost me money, things of that sort. And I started investigating divorce coaching programs, found one, and now it's been 4 or 5 years since I completed that certification, and I now mentor other coaches going through the program as well. So it is a very specialized form of coaching.
Okay. And so I want to ask you next, what is a divorce coach and what do they do? And then after that, I want to bring in our attorneys, David and Haley, to just kind of talk about some of those points throughout the divorce process where we're really seeing our clients either have the most transformation or where they're needing a little bit more support to make it through those more challenging times.
Sure. So the coach part of what I do is typical coaching where I work with someone who has a specific goal at achieving that goal. Um, I don't give advice as much as I help them uncover what strengths they have to achieve the goal or what areas they may want to improve on in themselves. With divorce coaching, I focus on 4 specific areas. The first being emotional and communications management, and those are very closely tied. The second area is organization. It's a legal process. There's lots of organizational work that's necessary. And also, for some people, starting a second household is completely overwhelming. So I help with that. Decision making is so difficult when you're an emotional wreck, really. No other way to put it. So I work with clients on developing some structure around decision making so that they can make decisions with more confidence. And I work on the healing part of divorce. And what I think is important for people to think about if they're just starting the process is you start to heal when you start the process. So when people say, well, I'll take care of this when I'm done with the divorce, take care of it during the divorce. It's really where the transformation comes in. It starts at the end, really.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, the healing takes place, after you go ahead and start that journey. David, could you weigh in on what is the divorce journey like? How does that process start? And it's kind of a winding road. Can you walk us through it?
Sure. And the divorce journey can start either by both parties agreeing to divorce, jointly in a joint petition, or in one party deciding that they're ready to seek divorce and they will file a petition. In Colorado, I keep using the word petition because in Colorado, the starting point to end a marriage is to file a petition for dissolution with the court. When you do that, you are triggering a timeline that the court follows and that the parties will follow to get to the finish line. Along that spectrum, the parties will do financial disclosures to each other. They will be required to attend mediation to try to settle their case. In Colorado, at least 50% of all cases will settle at mediation. And that's our goal with our clients, is to have them be the ones that decide how their marital estate will be divided and how they will parent their children after divorce. If the parties can't reach an agreement on everything or some things at mediation, then they will schedule a hearing with the judge and ultimately put on an evidentiary hearing. And the judge will decide how assets are divided, how children parenting time will be decided and set up, and also how maintenance and child support will be ordered by the court at that time.
And Haley, one thing I noticed is that, at the outset of the divorce, sometimes when we're conducting those initial strategy sessions, that's the first time that Haley or David or me, that we might meet with a client Some of those can be pretty tearful, depending on if that's the person receiving if they got that divorce served on them, or if they're the ones that are serving those divorce papers on someone else.
Absolutely, Jessica. It's often that frequently in our initial strategy sessions that we're really the first time that someone's been able to talk to someone about their divorce that maybe is outside their family or their immediate support system. And I always tell everyone that it's okay to be emotional in these meetings, because when you're going through a divorce, this isn't just business. This is your life. These are your babies. This is what you've worked hard for to build up your estate. It matters. And that's why it matters so much who's on your side and helping you figure out not only just what you're entitled to, but how you want to go through this process and what's important to you in that fresh chapter. Even though when you're starting the divorce, you're probably thinking, I just need to get a divorce. I just need to get through this. I'm just going to do it. But we want to work with you to not only be getting you divorced, but getting you set up so that your new fresh chapter is one that's going to be amazing for you. And that is a very daunting task for the client in the start, to not only see the divorce, but to see past the divorce. And we're here with you kind of every step of the way to make the process and your future more bite-sized to accomplish, because we don't expect anyone to know how to go through a divorce. No one just knows how to do it. That's why it's important to hire an expert, someone like our firm, and also someone like Sue, who can help not only at the legal side, but that emotional side, because it is going to be emotional. Even the most amicable of separations will be emotional, and it will be a change. It's just going to be how you handle that change and how you ride the wave into that new start. A lot of it depends on you.
Absolutely. It depends on you. It depends on what your support system looks like. It also can depend on what your partner, soon to be former partner, how they behave themselves, how even your kids are reacting to this. So Sue, our next question for you is, any particular advice for dealing with a very high conflict divorce?
So in and of its nature, divorce is a conflict. And right now, in this time that we live in, there's a lot of conflict around us. And there's this perception that if someone is a high conflict person, that the divorce is going to be harder. And it can be, but what's most important with dealing with someone in conflict is trying to get to the bottom of what the conflict is. And that involves some skills that may not come naturally to the person that's on the other side. It requires a tremendous amount of empathy to really continue to ask the questions of the high conflict person. Why is this so important to you? How do you think we can come to some sort of agreement together based on what it is you're thinking? So as a coach, a lot of times I work with my clients on helping them understand the type of person they are in a conflict. Are they aggressive? Are they assertive? What skills do they have? What skills do they need to develop? And then we practice a lot of empathy and open-ended questioning so that they can, try and get to the bottom of why their partner is so adamantly against some sort of solution. And it takes practice, and these are skills that we don't necessarily have, but they're manageable, they're doable, and once you have them, they help you a tremendous amount in many other areas of life.
Yeah, I like what you said about that. Just that, the thing is that we really have to be honest with ourselves about why we're choosing to do certain things as we're going through a divorce. I've had a client, I know several other attorneys have had clients to where, during the divorce process, you get certain orders, and you didn't have to live your life based on these orders before that divorce was initiated. And so, I've had clients who they don't necessarily want to comply with the orders, or, they're making it maybe a little bit more difficult. And I have to ask them sometimes, are you doing this because you really think that it's a smart thing to do in the long run? Or are you actually doing this because maybe you want to hurt the other person's feelings? Maybe you don't like that you're going through a divorce. Like, be honest with me, is that what's happening? And I feel like when you open that true dialogue, I have gotten the answer before, like, you know what, I am doing this because I'm upset, I'm hurt, and I want this other person to, taste a little bit of how I'm feeling too. We have to say, okay, thank you for being honest. Let's think of the best way that we can approach this for you in the long run.
Sure, sure. Because if something escalates in a divorce, and I'm sure you know this, it takes longer to get through the process, it's more expensive, and usually the results are not as beneficial to either party. So we really work now in this day and age to minimize conflict in the divorce process.
Because yeah, if it's handled the correct way, if it's handled in a way that's beneficial to both parties, we can really see some amazing things happen for our clients. In fact, Haley told me a story earlier that I would love for her to share with everyone, just about the transformative process, how beneficial sometimes stepping out on your own and moving forward with a divorce can actually be. Haley?
Absolutely. It's something that I think that anyone who's had a pleasure of helping someone through a divorce has gotten to see in one capacity or another, that even if the divorce isn't something that you were interested in or it was your idea, maybe it was your spouse's idea, it is still an opportunity for change. And the story I had related to Jessica was I had a client show up to her final divorce hearing with a really short, snappy new haircut. And I told her, your new haircut looks great. And she said, and she smiled, the biggest smile I had seen her yet in the case. And she said, thanks, he always loved my long hair. And just the sparkle she had from that transformation of her taking her power, realizing that even how she presents herself to the world was now hers to figure out without anyone else's consideration. That's transformative. I've seen it time and time again that it truly is, if you choose to make this process a time to reinvent yourself and to figure out what you want the next years of your life to look like, it is the perfect catalyst because you get to write your story, you get to figure out what's next, and you're a little bit freed from other people's expectations. Now, that doesn't mean it's not scary or hard or difficult or horrifying. But that just means that it's still an opportunity for you to find a way to make the lemonade out of lemons, right?
Absolutely. I love that story so much, because we were all talking before this webinar about how even though a good marriage can be such a beautiful thing, but also when you are living so closely with a person, there are a lot of those things related to your personal identity that kind of get chipped away over time. Even maybe some of your personal goals get chipped away over time. And so the divorce process can be a process to, like you said, reinvent yourself. Also to, just start doing things that you wanted to do in the past that maybe somebody else wouldn't let you do. I want to say it was a few months ago, David had a case to where he had a client and he just was bragging on this client so much, because this client actually got to the point of even finishing her degree throughout this process. And David, you have so many amazing transformative stories from your time as being a family lawyer.
Sorry, thank you. Yeah, and divorce really is transformative. And I'll share a few examples. One of my favorite is, and this happens a lot in family law. We'll meet with somebody and they'll say, this divorce is just getting started, and I feel like I'm going to have to live with them for the next, 4 months, 8 months, depending on how long the case lasts. And my first response is, there's no law that says you have to live with your spouse. There's no law that says you have to live together during a divorce. Some of our clients do have the resources to move out. And if they do, my advice is always move out. And then the second transformation is when they have moved out, I hear from them and they say, it's so nice that at 5 o'clock, they're not coming home. I don't have them in my house. The amount of stress that's relieved when you don't cohabitate with your future ex-spouse or your ex-spouse is massive. It's just a huge relief for people to have that. And then Jessica, just the example you were talking about, I've had many clients who sacrificed their career to raise children during the marriage. It's not always the wife, but in my caseload, it's often the wife. And as they're in the divorce process, they're weighing what they're going to do. And I've particularly nurses, for some reason, I've represented many nurses in Colorado who let their licenses expire. And so we help them navigate what it takes to get recertified and job hunt and get back into the market. And a lot of my clients have said, not only do I need to do this because I need to support myself financially, but I want to be out in the community doing something outside of the house. The kids are teenagers now or grown, and I want to do something in the community, and getting back in the workforce is that transformative experience for them to do that.
And you also talked, David, about how divorce is a very financial process. You got to turn in your financials, exchange them with the other party and the court. And sometimes people are getting a first look at their finances for the first time in a long time.
That's really true. And it's really common, and it's not gender specific, but in my caseload in particular, at least half my cases, one side or the other has controlled all the finances through the whole marriage. Some of my clients have never been allowed to have passwords to the bank accounts or the mortgage accounts. Some are surprised to find out they are on the mortgage. They are on the title to the house. And that is a big step. And so we often advise people, one, you might want to meet with the tax person because you're going to be filing your own taxes in the future. A lot of our clients have complex financial estates. So we say, if you don't have your own financial advisor, now's a good time to do that. And we always make referrals to folks that we know and trust in those fields. And then, we need people to be prepared to live on a budget. Maybe they didn't know their budget at all, but they're going to need to pay a mortgage or rent and all the bills associated with, managing a household. And for a lot of our clients who haven't had that, even though it's stressful to finally have to have that responsibility, it's also a huge relief. Because in a lot of times when we have a client who's been kept in the dark, the other side made it sound like rocket science to run a budget, and it's not rocket science at all. It's just a budget. And so it's a great relief for people to figure out, you know what, I actually can do this, and it's not as complicated as my ex said it was.
And is that something that you also help support with, Sue, as far as when people are rethinking their budgets for the first time in years?
Sure. I think I mentioned earlier, sometimes I work with people on their exit strategy. And one of the first things we do is focus on what their budget needs to look like during the divorce process. And, do they have the money? Have they figured out how they're going to retain counsel? Some of my clients have never had their own credit cards. And so they need to learn how to create a budget for themselves, not only for the divorce timeframe, but also for when they're out on their own. So that's one of the first things we do.
Okay, yeah, one of the first things and one of the most important things too. As far as the transformative process, what I've noticed is that I particularly have had a lot of clients who are doing that great divorce, kind of like how you talked about, Sue. A lot of my clients are over the age of 60, and they got married, back during a time to where it was difficult or even impossible in some cases for women to have bank accounts and, property in some situations. And they've also never even gotten the chance to experience life on their own. And so I'm talking to some of these 70, 80-year-old women, and they're like, I am so excited to live life by myself for the first time. I am so excited to, make my own decisions, cook what I want to eat for dinner. Maybe not even cook if I don't feel like eating, decorate things, how they want to decorate it. If they want a pink couch, they can get a pink couch because, they're finally able to make their own decisions by themselves. And so, and the finances are a big part of that as well. But
Yes.
I've noticed in that way that it can be a very freeing situation.
Yeah.
So Sue actually has a project that we can work on very briefly for anybody who is out there. If you have a pen and paper somewhere nearby you, you're going to want to grab that because Sue has a really cool project to walk us through.
Okay, so I can't see how many of you have your paper and pen ready, but on a sheet in the middle of the page, go ahead and make a heart since it's Valentine's Day. You can't really see that very well, and inside that heart, I want you to list all of your personal strengths. Maybe you're resilient, maybe you're kind, loving, great cook, anything positive you can think of about yourself, and fill that in as much as with as many things that you can think of. It can be you're a powerful runner, whatever. And just kind of breathe that in for a second and kind of pat yourself on the back, because those are things about you. Those are really wonderful things about you. And then on the outside of the heart, go ahead and write down all the things that might be stressing you out on Valentine's Day. Maybe you're feeling lonely. Maybe you're afraid of the divorce process. Maybe you've got some money worries. Whatever kinds of stuff that doesn't feel good is going on around you, go ahead and write that outside of your heart's drawing. And then when you've done that, find a pair of scissors and cut the heart out and throw away the rest. Because it's what's inside your heart that's going to get you through this. It's going to help you connect to your better self, which will help guide you through this process, along with the folks at Jones Law to help you and support you. And that's how you're going to get through and be able to be transformed in the future.
I love that so much. And I'm just working on mine right here, Sue. And I saw that you were working on one as well, Haley. What are some of the things that you put inside of your heart?
Ooh, personal here. I put inside my heart that I am kind and resilient and giving, and that I'm a good cook.
Ah,
Yes. Didn't you win the chili
I did
contest?
in the first annual Jones Law Firm Chili Cook-Off.
good for
Yeah,
you.
came in second though, so don't open up that wound.
David, if you could put something inside of your heart, what would it be?
I love being a parent. I'm a divorcee myself. I have two teenage sons, so I'm on a 50-50 parenting plan, and I cherish the time I have with my sons. It's still unnatural to not have them half the time. But I cherish the time I have with them, and I make a good effort to be a good dad.
That's great.
Yeah, and that helps you relate to your clients as well.
It does, and I often will talk about my own divorce, just as an example, especially in the timeline of things. And mine was a no conflict divorce, really, and so it's possible. And it also, and I make compromises, and often we ask our clients to make compromises to get them to the finish line. Often we say, you're in this last fight. Generally, this is the last fight you're going to have with your future ex-spouse. As long as they can co-parent after. Which most people really do, then this is the last battle. And so, knowing that, I think gives people some ease.
Absolutely. Sue, what would you put inside of your heart?
Well, I put resilient, kind, strong, loving grandma. So those are all the things that really help carry me through.
That's great. I put good planner. I also put loves my family. And I think that you're right. You know, when you can identify these really good things about yourself, those are the things that can help you, your unique strengths to be able to get through this divorce process. Okay, you guys, well, it is now officially 1 o'clock. So I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who registered and attended this seminar. Also a big thank you to David and Sue and Haley
Thank
for
you.
being here and for sharing your stories and answering these questions. I do want to let the attendees out there know that you can call our law firm if you do need help, if it's a divorce or any other family law issue. We are here to be right here by your side and help walk you through it. If you are interested in hiring Sue to either you're preparing for a divorce, you want to get emotionally prepared for that, you can reach out to Sue at SueHorwitzCoaching.com. That's SueHorwitz coaching.com, and for any divorce coaching help you might need. And here at Jones Law Firm, we're at denverdivorceattorneys.com. Thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you all so much.
Hi, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed this episode of our webinar series. You can reach us at denverdivorceattorneys.com. You can call us at 303-799-8155. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, LinkedIn. You can find us if you need us, and we're here to help. Thank you, and see you next time.